Hi everyone, my name is Veda Spidle and welcome to the Karuna Trees 4:30 live stream, Gentle Yoga. Oh, just kidding, 5:30. Welcome to the Karuna Trees 5:30 Gentle Yoga and Sound Healing. And again, my name is Veda Spidle. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with all of you, sharing our practice and guiding your practice. For those of you that are new to this live stream, I like to always prep the room. So if you have a space that you feel safe practicing in, go ahead and set up that space, adjust the lighting, put away any distractions that you can. If you have a yoga mat to practice on, that's great. If you don't, that's fine. Just choose flooring that feels safe for you to stand on where you'll have safe footing. And if you don't have any yoga blocks, stuff like that, that's also okay. You could just use a few bath towels or blankets. I'll be demonstrating with bath towels. And for Shavasana at the end, for the rest, you'll want to have an eye pillow that adds a little extra comfort. If you don't have one and you want one, you can use a folded face towel instead. And doing anything else that you need to set up yourself for the practice. I will be playing singing bowls at the end. And so if you're playing music for yourself at the end, you might want to turn the music off so that you can hear the singing bowls. So we're going to start seated. I recommend sitting elevated on some type of support. And then if you're choosing to sit cross-legged, have additional support underneath the outer edges of the legs. This just gives us little gentle support. We're not trying to have the legs or the knees being pressed up. We want the knees in line with the hips or lower. If you're finding that your knees are a lot higher up, you'll want to sit up higher on some type of support or double your support. All right, so getting comfortable. Evenly weighted across the sitting bones, closing the eyes or soft gaze. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. Another deep breath in. Sigh it out. So we take these first few moments of our practice to settle into the space. Become aware of the room that you're in. If there are any distractions, allow them to fall into the background. Settle into your body. Feel the earth, the props supporting you. Energetically rooting down through the sitting bones. Feel yourself grow a little taller and the top of the head reaches up to the sky. And acknowledge yourself here, that you showed up for your practice, for your self-care. And also energetically acknowledge your fellow yogis that are on right now practicing with you and those that come on later. Acknowledging energetically your family and your friends, other communities that you're a part of. Feel that connection. And bring your awareness back to yourself, your body, and now your breath. And today our focus will be primarily on the breath. So right now, without changing anything, just notice your current breathing pattern. Observe without judgment, without trying to change it. Notice if you're breathing through the nose or the mouth. Notice what parts of the body inflate and deflate as you breathe. Let the breath continue to move without making any changes to your pattern. And bring the hands together, Anjali Mudra at heart center. We'll begin with 3 rounds of Om. You can join, you can just listen, you can hum. Let's first inhale together. Let it go. And inhale. Keeping the eyes closed, release the hands to the lap. If you're sitting cross-legged, I recommend changing the cross of the legs. We'll be here for about another minute to 2 minutes, focusing on our breath. Now begin your belly breath if you're not already there naturally. The inhale comes in through the nose, the belly gently expands, navel drops forward, and as you exhale, gently draw the navel back toward the spine. Inhale, belly drops forward, keep the spine elongated. Exhale, draw the navel back. Again, inhale. Exhale. Now you can continue your belly breaths or build into your full deep breath. The inhale expands the belly, the ribs, up to the heart center at the chest. And as you exhale, relax the chest, the ribs draw in, and navel toward the spine. Breathe without strain. The inhale, breath builds from the base up. Exhale from the top point down. Few more. Feel yourself breathing. Now continue your full deep breaths or your belly breaths and slowly transition to table, all fours. You can come onto a towel for your knees if you need that additional support. Your towel or blanket across the center of the mat. Wrists underneath the shoulders, the fingers wide, knees underneath the hips, tops of the feet right now to the floor. Thigh bones create kind of a number 11. Cat-cows moving from the tailbone. Inhale, tailbone scoops up, belly drops, heart gaze forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, tailbone scoops up, belly drops, heart gaze lifts. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, whole spine follows, chin to chest. Few more of these, but be very aware of the movement of your breath. Let the movement of the physical body match to the breath. Continue your cat-cows, tuck the toes under. The inhale is still cow, belly dropped. Exhale, round through cat, press your hips to heels, stretching into the bottoms of the feet, press the mat away. Inhale, glide forward into cow. Exhale, round and press back. Few more of these. Keeping the toes tucked under if you can. Full complete exhale until you're empty when you press the hips to heels. 2 more. Keep the legs parallel when you push back. Empty the breath. Empty the lungs. 1 more. Full inhale. Complete exhale. Return to table, untuck the toes, bring the legs in closer than hip width apart. If they touch at midline, that's fine. Widen the hands, we're setting up for a hip release. Draw the navel in slightly towards the low back to support the lumbar spine. Relax the heart down, neck is holding the head, and gently rock the hips side to side. Keep the hands and knees in contact with the floor. It's not about touching the hips to the ground. All right, so we want to just give a release to the hips, the low back. And now check in with your breath. When the hips go to the side, it's an exhale. When you come through center, it's an inhale. About 2 more times to each side. when that feels complete for you, coming into child's pose. The big toes touch, the knees go wide, hips to heels. Now you'll notice here I have this blanket, this towel underneath my shins, and I'm allowing the tops of my ankles to drape over the back end of the towel. If you need more space in the knee joints, you can grab one of your blankets and place that between the hips and heels or behind the knees. And then bring your forehead down to the floor, a blanket or some type of support, a yoga block if you have it. We want our forehead supported by something. Now, if this type of child's pose is not available to you because of the knees, you can stay in table. You can also keep the lower body, the hips over the knees, stationary, and walk the upper body forward, taking a bow, and maybe the forehead to the floor. If you need to, elbows can come down. Just make sure you're not putting too much weight then on the head. And if that doesn't work, you can lay on your back and hug the knees to the chest. So wherever you're at, we're here for about 5 more breaths. See if you can feel the breath expand into the back body. So our breathing muscles, feeling them in the back as well. Feeling the ribs expand and contract on all sides. If you need more time in child's pose, you can stay where you are. Otherwise, inhale, bring yourself up to table. Let the breath go as you readjust. Bring the knees in now closer than hip width apart at midline to touch if that's available. If not, that's fine. You might need to widen the hands again, doing hip circles. Let the hips draw circles around the knees, doing only what feels good for your body today. Don't press past any safety stops. Reverse direction. All right, so if you find at any point in your practice that your breath is hindered, you might be pressing yourself too far. So be really conscious here of your breath. And then return to table. Widen the knees so the knees are underneath the hips, the fingers wide, tuck the toes under, setting ourselves up for lunge. Step the right foot through between the hands, come up on the fingertips. If you have your yoga blocks, they would go underneath the hands. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee up, press out through the heel. Now take a moment here, settle into the shape. Once you're in this pose, hold the pose and feel yourself breathing. See if your breath is affected when you come up against more challenge. Can you still be mindful of the breath? One more. Now making it dynamic. Inhale, heart reaches forward to the horizon. Exhale, straighten the front leg and maybe fold. Inhale, bend the front knee, heart gaze reach forward. Exhale, straighten and fold. 2 more. Doing only what feels right. Remember, it's most important that your breath is steady. Rebend the front knee, building side angle. Spin the back heel in and down, front heel to back arch alignment. Outer edge of the back foot parallel to the short end of the mat. Your right hand can come to the inside of the right leg, left hand to the left hip. You can also bump the right forearm to the right thigh. Scoop the right buttock under, allowing the front knee, the right knee to point forward. It's stacked over its ankle, pressing down through the outer edge of the back foot. Allowing the shoulders to stack. Right hand, the fingers are open wide, or you can hug them in towards each other, but keep the hand active, engaged. Maybe the left arm to the sky and gaze follows. So you're coming up against your safe edges of challenge. Can you still breathe with conscious awareness? And in that challenge, can you find the calm in the storm through the breath? 2 more cycles. Now keep the legs as they are. Press down through the feet. Inhale up, warrior 2. So the shoulders, the hips are open. And then you're looking over the right hand to the middle finger. One second, if you can hear me, we're going to check in with the YouTube streaming. So if you're there and you can hear me, hold on. So we're in warrior 2. Stay with me if you're there. YouTube's having a little bit of a problem, but it's catching up. So from warrior 2, open the front palm to the sky, straighten the front leg, and reverse triangle. So even in those challenges, we keep breathing, even when YouTube stops. So you're in a reverse triangle. Inhale, come up, reach the right arm forward, and then full triangle. You can let the left arm reach up to the sky. If that's too much on your body, left hand to the left hip. Gaze is up. It can be out to the side in line with the heart or down at the floor. One more breath. And then slowly re-bend the front knee and then walk your upper body out at an angle, keeping the lower body as it is. Lengthen the spine. 2 more breaths here. Good, and then straighten your front leg. Spin the right leg in, coming into your wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, fold. So your hands can be on the floor. You can have your hands on the outer edges of the legs. You can also have your hands underneath you with the fingertips pointing away from the body, helping you to fold a little bit deeper. So finding the right spot for your hands. About 2 more breaths. Toes are pointing forward or slightly pigeon-toed in. About 1 more breath. Now inhale to come up, a little bit of a different transition than what we've done in the past. Now start to bend the left leg, spinning it, coming into that side angle shape as you walk yourself into lunge on the other side. So now the left leg is in front. You might be facing your back towards the camera, and that's okay, or towards the computer. So you're in lunge, bring your left hand to the left hip, start to twist open, stacking the shoulders, your twist lunge, and then left arm to the sky. Catch your breath. Inhale here. Exhale, slowly release. And then back knee touches down. Take half splits. Slide the hips back, glide them back. Keep the right hip over the right knee. Lift the left toes, pull them back towards their knee. You're on the back of the left heel. Reach the heart forward to the horizon. Maybe fold a little bit deeper. Wherever you're at, check in with your breath. And now slowly walk the hands forward and come into table. So we're still facing in the opposite direction. You can do cat-cows. You can take child's pose, hip release, hip circles, your choice. About 5 breaths. You'll notice for this one, I'm stacking my fists, resting my forehead on the hands. Take a sigh breath if you need it. One more breath. And now slowly bring yourself up to table. This is where we meet. And now we're going to go in reverse. Step your left foot through, coming into lunge. Back knee lifts up, press out through the heel. Square the hips, take a moment, settle into the shape, and then deep breathe about 3 breaths. Feel yourself breathing. And we make it dynamic. Inhale, heart gaze forward. Exhale, straighten the front leg and maybe fold. You have about 3 more. Inhale. And fold. Breath and movement are paired. When that feels complete, rebend the front knee, spin the back heel in and down. We're building side angle on the side, left hand to the inside of the left leg, right hand to the right hip. You can also bump your left forearm to the left thigh, scoop the left buttock under, allowing the hips to open, heart, gaze, hips open in the same direction, stacking the hips, maybe the right arm to the sky. Gaze can follow. Right, so if shaking is happening, that's okay. Deep muscles are working. If you feel pain somewhere in the body, it might mean that you need to readjust. And then check in with your breath. If at any point your breath is hindered, you might be pressing yourself too far. Keep breathing. Now press down through the feet. Inhale up, warrior two. Top of the head aligned over the pelvic floor. Gaze to the middle finger of the left hand. We'll be here for about 3 more breaths since we had to be there a little bit longer on the other side. Beautifully done. Now open the front palm, straighten the front leg, and take your reverse triangle. So you can reach the left arm up towards the sky if you want to go a little bit further. Reaching it back overhead. Inhale, come up, and then reach the left arm forward, upper body forward in line with the toes, the direction of the toes, and then come into your triangle. Keep breathing. And then look down, rebend the front knee, keep the legs as they are, walk the upper body out at an angle. Keep pressing down through the outer edge of the right foot, the front knee, the left knee stays over its ankle. All right, so we change up our sequence, our schedules, and sometimes you notice that those changes can also affect our breathing. But if we can catch our breath, even if we have to go to our breath 1,000 times to refocus, we create a stronger connection to our breath, to the mindfulness state, and from being able to operate from a place of more calm and peace. Walk the upper body now to center. Straighten the left leg, spin it in. Check that your feet are in line, slightly pigeon-toed in. Reach the heart forward to the horizon. Exhale, fold. Now, if you want to go a little bit further, lift up halfway, bring the hands to the low back, clasp the hands, hug the shoulder blades together and towards the pelvis, and then again, fold top of the head towards the sky. The clasp up towards the ceiling, maybe overhead. Wherever you're at, check in again, the quality of your breath. Another moment here. Release the hands to the floor. Inhale, half lift. As you exhale, spin the right foot forward now. We're switching sides again. Walk the upper body through that angle and then into lunge. Taking our lunge twist, right hand to the right hips, twist the heart open to the right, maybe the right arm to the sky. Exhale, release. Back knee touches down, coming into our half splits. Glide the hips back, back of the right heel on the floor. Pull the toes back towards their knee. Reach the heart to the horizon and maybe fold. Another moment. Walk the hands forward. Bend the front knee, come into table. Again, your choice. You can do cat-cows, you can do hip circles, child's pose, up to you, but we'll be here for about 8 to 10 breaths. What do you need? So to be able to reach that place in Shavasana at the end, our place of quiet, the feeling of oneness, we first take the steps to become conscious of our breath, mindful of how we're breathing. And that breath, the pattern of our breath, the depth of the breath, helps to move the pranic force, the healing life force, the energy through the body. And as we do that, we begin to balance our systems. And by the time that we reach savasana, we're able to lay down and fall into that place of stillness, where the breath becomes almost non-existent as everything balances and harmonizes. Another breath. Inhale, press yourself up to table. Let the breath go. Toes are tucked under. Extend the right leg behind you, and then bump the left hand up on the fingertips as if you have a tennis ball underneath the left palm. If this is enough, stay here. Otherwise, float the right leg off the floor, maybe also the left arm. If you're lifting the arm, the palm facing midline. If you're lifting the leg, toes point down. Now you can stay here. If you want to go a little bit further, twist or turn the arm, the left arm, so the thumb points down, and then clasp behind you the top of the right foot or at the ankle. Press the hand, the foot into each other. Gently lift the heart, the gaze. And now we check in with our breath. What's your breath doing? All right, we want to make sure we're not holding the breath. Extend the limbs and release. Let's do the other side. Left leg extends. Level the hips, bump up on the right fingertips, and then go into the variation that feels right for you. Maybe clasping the foot. All right, so yoga helps us to see some of our patterns and maybe some that we want to heal, resolve, or adjust. And if we can continue to breathe through difficult moments, through challenges, it's a lot easier on our overall nervous system, our energy body, our mental state. Slowly release. Table. Deep breath in. Let it go. And then slowly come onto your seat. I recommend sitting elevated on some type of support, especially if you find that your low back and your hamstrings talk. Opening up into a wide-legged forward fold, or we're going in that direction. Adjust so that you're sitting evenly weighted across your sitting bones, back of the heels to the floor, toes point up. Start with the hands behind you, sit tall. And then point and flex your feet. And have your toes point and flex at the angle that the legs are pointing in. So you want to make sure you're not pointing them in. All right, so we're pointing and flexing the feet out and then towards the knees. A few more. Good, toes point up. If this is enough for you, stay here. Otherwise, hands can go to the hips. Gently tilt the pelvis forward so your weight comes to the front end of the sitting bones. Lead forward with the heart. Hands can come to the floor and the palms or up on the fingertips. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards the spine. Keep reaching forward with the heart. If you find that you're leading with the chin, draw it back. Moving into your wide-legged seated forward fold. Now we'll be here for about 2 minutes. So our mind likes to show up here and it starts to talk about how long we're going to be here and is it possible. It starts to get uncomfortable, right? Stillness sometimes can bring up things that are really uncomfortable. Can you hang out in the stillness? And then notice what happens with your breathing. So if we've had situations in our lives where they were jolting, traumatic, that something shifted the way that we react, right? And you find that you gasped and held your breath. And if that breathing pattern was never reset, then you come up against challenges and you find yourself holding the breath. But what does the body need? The body needs the breath to move. The energy body needs the prana to move. So see if you can deepen the breath. Let it become steady. And notice how the mind and the breath are incredibly connected. About a minute left. Keep breathing. As you calm the mind, those fluctuations, And so the system begins to settle and balance. And press the hands into the floor. Slowly bring yourself up and release the breath. Bring the hands underneath the knees. Slowly bend the knees, feet to the floor. And let the feet be wider than the hips. You can move the support you had for underneath the knees off to the side. Lean back on the hands and reach the heart up to the sky. And now drop one knee in at a time towards its opposite ankle. Now once more on each side. When that feels complete, heel to the feet and towards each other, and then come into bound angle. Soles of the feet touch. Let the knees drop open away from each other. You can bring in support for the outer edges of the legs. Hands can go to the base of the knees. The shins are at the ankles. Make sure you're even across the sitting bones. Lengthen the spine. Now you can stay here or tilt the pelvis slightly forward. Weight goes on the front end of the sitting bones. Heart comes forward. You're coming into a fold. Maybe the hands to the floor. Keep the soles of the feet pressing together, knees away from each other. And then reconnect to your breath. Allowing every exhale to take with it any tensions, any gripping, anything that's ready to go. Notice all the ways that our breath supports us. About 3 more. And press the hands to the floor, walk them in towards the body, sit upright, and then draw the knees together as if closing a book, feet to the floor. Widen the feet slightly about hip width apart, toes point forward, hands behind you. Lift the heart up, gentle back bend, and take a deep breath in. Side out through the mouth. Once more, deep breath in. Let it go. And then sit in neutral and extend the legs out in front of you. I'm spinning on my mat so you can see me. And if you are sitting on support, I recommend that you continue to sit on support for this. If you had support underneath the knees, to keep that support underneath the knees. Sitting up for a seated twist, you're going to bend the right knee. I'm working on the same side as you. And then bring the right foot in towards the body, left toes pointing up towards the sky. You can go a little bit further by taking the right foot up and over. Make sure the big toe mound of the right foot in that case is glued to the floor, as is the left hip, the left sitting bone. Right hand behind you, left hand to the right knee, lengthen. And then as you exhale, begin to twist. Low belly twist, the ribs, the shoulders, lastly the head. So you're feeling the whole torso twist around a central channel. If you'd like, you can hook your left elbow to the outer edge of the right knee as long as it doesn't compromise your breath. And just take note here, we're in our twist, so our full deep breath is not going to feel the same. So you're breathing as comfortably but fully as you can in your twist without strain. Another breath. Now keep the legs as they are. Inhale back through center and then switch the arms. Right elbow to the inside of the right knee, left hand behind you. Lengthen with your inhale. And as you exhale, begin to twist open. Beautifully done. Inhale back to center. And then we switch. Extend the right leg out. Left knee bends in. Now take the same variation that you just took on the other side. Set yourself up. Even on both sitting bones. As even as you can be. Right hand to the left knee, left hand behind you, inhale, lengthen. And as you exhale, begin your closed twist. So the belly turns or twists, the ribs, shoulders, top of the head remains over the pelvic floor, head is pivoting on the neck. And we breathe. Another breath here. Inhale back. Exhale, switch only the arms. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, begin to twist. Open twist to the right. And bring it back to center. Release, extend both legs out. Point and flex the feet. Bounce the knees. And rock the legs side to side. From here, we're coming down onto our backs. Have your support within reach, but you can move whatever you were sitting on. And then scoot forward in your spot. If you're a yoga mat, you're going to the front end of your yoga mat, toes pointing forward. 2 ways to lay down. You can use your hands to bring yourself all the way down, or a little bit of core work, bringing the arms up. Hug the shoulder blades together, and then slowly begin to descend down, 1 vertebra at a time. Tucking the tailbone, drawing the navel toward the spine as slowly as you can. Bringing yourself all the way down onto your back. Once you're down, adjust. If you need to, hug the knees into the chest. And then draw circles with the knees, guiding the knees around the hips opposite from each other. And reverse. And then walk the legs, the knees pressing one away, drawing one in, and then switch. All right, so I'm doing this with you. If this is new for you, you can always watch. About 2 more. You're using the hands to move the legs, so the legs are fairly relaxed here. Good, and then hug the knees into the chest. Maybe float the forehead up to meet the knees, and take a full body stretch. Sigh or yawn. And then release the arms by your sides. Set up for windshield wipers. Feet wider than the hips, knees are bent. And sway the legs side to side. Match the breath. When the legs come down, it's an exhale. When they come up, it's an inhale. And notice if through this practice today, anything has changed for you with paying attention to your breath. What's going on with the mind? How does it feel to be aware of your breath? Are there areas of the body that feel like they're opening up between the movement and the breath? A few more. If you want to bring your feet in a little bit closer towards each other, that will bring the movement further up the spine, a little bit more of a twist in our windshield wipers. You can try it out. And then feet to the floor, knees pointing upright. Number 4, hug the right knee into the chest, squeeze it in, and then open up the leg and place the right ankle on the left thigh. Arms by your sides. And we breathe. So through all distractions, through experiences, through changes, fluctuations, and even in stillness, our breath is always there. But the question is, how are we breathing? What is the quality of our breath? Number 4, windshield wipers. Rock the legs side to side, keeping the number 4 shape. When that feels complete, hug the right knee into the chest, give it a squeeze, and then we switch sides. Left knee comes in, take number 4 on this side. Stillness. Breath comes and goes. And again, rock the legs side to side. Come back to center, hug the left knee into the chest. Take a full body stretch. This time interlace the fingers, roll the palms open away from the head, point and flex the feet. Take a sigh or yawn if you need to. And release the arms. You have two options here before Shavasana for a gentle restorative shape. Option one is soles of the feet touch, knees drop open. And you can place, and I do recommend to place some type of support underneath the outer edges of the legs. If you need to have support underneath your head to grab that, just make sure you're not lifting your head up too high. And then you can also cover up in your extra blanket if you have one, in your towel. You can also put that across the hips or the torso. Make yourself comfortable, right? So that's option one. Option two is taking restorative bridge. Now, if you have support that's really high underneath the head, I recommend to either move that or to skip this pose. So if you have anything underneath the head, it still needs to keep the head fairly leveled, ears as in line with the center of the shoulders as possible. And then press down through the feet, float the hips up, and place support underneath the hips. Not the low back, the hips, so the hips are elevated, shoulder blades tucked under, arms by your sides, palms up. You can stay like this with the ankles relatively underneath the knees, the feet to the floor, or you can extend the legs all the way out. So either of those two options, setting yourself up. If neither feel right for you, you can extend the legs out, place support under the knees. You can also elevate the legs. So we'll be here for a few minutes. What I want us to notice is this descend of us in the beginning of class becoming conscious of our breath, observing our breath, moving with our breath. And as we began to breathe deeper, we brought in a steadier breath. It starts to move energy through the body, starts to calm the mind, right? So all the fluctuations of the mind, the monkey mind, as you might hear some yogis call it, I call it sometimes as well, begins to kind of settle the mind. And now we're descending. All right, we're moving towards Shavasana. So remain conscious of your breath, but now don't try to do any type of breathing pattern on purpose. Don't try to breathe in any particular way. Just notice your breath coming and going. Giving way for the energies in our system to harmonize, to balance. Feeling yourself settle. Feel our moments here. When you feel ready, if you're in bound angle, you can close the knees together as if closing a book, feet to the floor. If you're in bridge, feet to the floor, press down through them, lift the hips, move the support out from under you, slowly lower the hips to the floor. And you can take windshield wipers. We can all hug the knees into the chest. Transitioning towards Shavasana in a way that feels good for you. If there's any other stretches that you'd like to take, you can take them now. Karma came to join us here. Okay. Today's that day, right? We just breathe through things. And then we come back to center. And we extend our legs, setting up for Shavasana. And for here, you can bring the knees, support underneath the knees, build it up. Cover up in a blanket. Good time to grab your eye pillow. Cover up your eyes. Doing anything else that you need to get comfortable. So take your time. So again, I will be playing the singing bowls. So if you're playing any music, you might want to turn that off in the background. So take a moment to do anything else that you need to. Okay, deep breath in. Let it go. Another deep breath in. Let it go. So now as our physical body settles, our breath, our mind settles as well. Notice now yourself releasing all effort, releasing effort of the physical body. The breath, allowing thoughts to come and go without giving them any attention. And this is that progression of working with the breath consciously, harmonizing, balancing our systems. So you can descend down in Shavasana into the state of stillness, where the breath now becomes almost non-existent. Let go. awareness returns to the breath. And then to the body. Deepen the breath. Begin gentle movements, wiggling toes and fingers, keeping the eyes closed. You can open and close the hands a few times as if you're squeezing sponges, point and flex the feet. Maybe rock the head side to side. And take a full body stretch, reaching the arms up overhead, a sigh or yawn. Windshield wipers or hug the knees into the chest. Rock either the legs side to side or the body side to side. And roll over to your comfortable side, resting in the fetal position. Take care to support your head with your bottom arm, pillow, or blanket. And stay here for a moment. Observe how you feel and do so without judgment, expectation, or control. Notice the power of focusing your attention on the breath. Answer for yourself how it felt to do that throughout the practice, no matter what happened, no matter if there are distractions in your background, or if YouTube stopped for a moment, or if my dog walked in. Can you keep breathing on purpose? Even if we have to refocus our breath 1,000 times, every time that we bring our attention to our breath, we strengthen that pathway. It becomes easier to get there. The longer you can stay there once you are there, and the easier it is to go back. And as you reach that place of stillness and calm inside, as you balance the breath and the energies in the body, you begin to interact with your environment from that place. When you feel ready, keeping the eyes closed, slowly bring yourself up to a comfortable seat, placing one hand on heart center, one hand at the lower abdomen below the navel. Feel yourself breathing. And bring the hands together at heart center, Anjali Mudra. And with a conscious breath, we close with a single sound of Om. Inhale. Bowing head to heart in honor of each other, ourselves, and this practice. Thank you for sharing today this practice energetically with each other, with me. It's such an honor. May you have a great rest of your day, evening, or morning, whenever you watch this again. Namaste.